Welcome to the World Championship match between Anatoly Karpov and Garry Kasparov in 1984. In this video series, I will be looking at the victories between Karpov and Kasparov. This is game 3. The score at the moment is 1-1 because game 1 and game 2 were draws. Now we're going to have a look at game 3. Let's see what happened. If it's your first time here, hello, my name is William. I create chess videos and I hope you find this one valuable. Let's begin. Karpov has white, Kasparov has black. e4, c5, we have the Sicilian. Knight f3, e6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, the open Sicilian. And after knight c6, knight b5. Already, Karpov has moved the knight 3 times. The knight is going to come into d6. That's why Kasparov plays d6 to stop that, because he's got queen and bishop on it. c4. This is called the Maroczy bind. You've got pawns on c4 and e4 controlling the d5 square. White is fighting for a lot of central space. Knight f6, knight c3, a6, kicking the knight away, but it doesn't go into the center, it goes to a3. Karpov wants to reroute it to c2 and then come back in the game a different way. By the way, this pawn is very useful because it stops black getting space on the queen side with a typical move in the Sicilian with b5. Bishop e7. Black is controlling a lot of squares in the center. Bishop e2, castle, castle. b6. With this move, black is controlling too many central squares. Really, he's controlling all these squares along the 5th rank. Look at all the squares black controls. Black is waiting patiently for white to do something, and he's waiting for him to react. This is not an easy opening to play with black. Bishop e3. 2 bishops in the center, which you tend to get in the Sicilian, either with white or black. This bishop is attacking this pawn. At the moment, it is defended by the queen. Bishop b7. When this knight gets out of the way, then there's pressure. Bishop and knight come in on this pawn. So one move, white could play f3, but Karpov goes straight for it. He goes queen b3. Queen, bishop, both attack this pawn. And Kasparov also reacts in a dynamic manner. He doesn't play knight d7, which defends it. He plays knight a5. Look at all these arrows. I'm going to draw them all in to explain. So, first up. Knight a5. It attacks the queen. But at the same time, knight, bishop now attack this pawn. When this happens, white is attacking this pawn with queen and bishop. Looks like there's going to be a massive trade. Queen takes pawn. Knight takes e4. Notice this knight is defending this bishop. Knight takes. Bishop takes. e4. Bishop is very well placed in center. Queen takes. Bishop takes. So then the bishop defends the knight. You cannot play rook takes or else bishop b6 will attack both rook and knight. That's why Kasparov had to take with the bishop. How to assess this position? 6 pawns each. 3 minor pieces each. But white has a majority. 2 pawns against 1 on the left hand side, the queen side. Rook a d1 attacking the pawn. Bishop e7 was a way to just defend it. And then maybe white has to put his knight back on its starting square because it has to somehow get back in the game. Knight b1 is one way to continue. Then the knight can come to c3 and the game goes on. But Kasparov went d5. And Karpov he doesn't take because after this then the bishop is just so well placed in the center, attacking this pawn, facing this side as well. Instead of taking, he attacks the bishop, displacing it. f3 attacking the bishop. The bishop moves. What has Kasparov seen? Take, take, take. Rook attacks bishop. Not attacking this knight because there's a bishop there. The bishop moves to e6, attacking this. Rook d6. Bishop takes a2. So this is what Kasparov planned. He gets his pawn back. At the moment, it's equal, but it is white's move. And the truth is, white has 2 on this. So Karpov cashes in on that pawn. Rook takes pawn. Rook b8. Rook attacks b2. Watch now how Karpov plays. Every single move now, until the end, is an attacking move. This really is playing with the initiative. He is a pawn up anyway. But even if he wasn't, every single move now is attacking. Check this out. Bishop c5. There's no time. for black to take the pawn because the bishop attacks the rook. Rook e8. Bishop b5, attacking this rook and blocking off this path. Let me draw in all these arrows again. You move the bishop here to attack the rook. It's defended by the knight. But why is this such a good move? Because it blocks the rook to take this pawn. Rook e6, offering a trade. b4. Karpov says no, I'm going to move my pawn, and now pawn defends bishop and attacks the knight. So another attacking move by Karpov. The knight moves to b7. Another option was to go forward with knight b3. And then maybe the bishop retreats. Maybe we actually take and then retreat it. Just so then this pawn is isolated. It's a bit weak. It can be a target in the future. Then we can retreat the bishop. The game goes on. But in the game, after b4, Kasparov moved the knight to a passive square. Knight b7. It does attack this bishop. Bishop retreats to f2. Bishop e7, and this is a brilliant backward move from the knight, because this rook has the chance to attack this bishop indirectly with knight c2. A brilliant backward move by Karpov. Maybe Kasparov missed this. The bishop moves to d5. Rook d1, another attacking move by Karpov. Bishop b3. Did Karpov make a mistake? No, because even though he's deliberately pinned himself, the rook can come into the black position with rook d7. With a rook on the 7th rank, it's attacking the knight and the bishop. The rooks attack each other on the 6th rank. So there's a lot of tension in the position. At the moment, white is a pawn up, but truthfully, it's all about the active pieces. White's pieces are more active. Rook is on the 7th. Rook is on the 6th. Bishop is on the 5th. Knight is doing a useful job at the moment, defending that pawn. The knight can come in the middle. I really like white's position. Rook d8, offering a trade. But Karpov trades in a very effective manner. He doesn't take this rook. He takes this rook. Kasparov now takes this rook. Notice, there's a lot of tension here. Bishop attacks rook, pawn attacks rook. And also, that bishop could have taken it. But at the moment so far, what's happened? Rook for rook. But Karpov keeps this rook on the board with rook e1. Because when he retreats it, this bishop continues to attack this rook. This rook attacks this bishop. Even though bishop attacks knight, you can't take it at the moment because bishop attacks rook, which is of higher value. Now black moves the rook to c7. It needs to keep an eye on this bishop. But now another attacking move by Karpov. He is really playing with full power. Bishop b6, and in this position black resigned. What's happening here? Well, once again, I'm going to draw in all the arrows to explain. This bishop attacks this rook. This rook attacks this bishop. If black takes this, then rook takes bishop, and this is the problem. Double attack, double threat. Rook e8 is back crank mate, and you can't stop it unless you lose the knight. If you go knight d6, bishop c5. Attacking this knight. You can't take the bishop because rook e8 is mate. After rook takes bishop, if you check, the king can just run. Check. You can actually just block. And we still have this problem. Rook attacks knight, back rank mate, and then same thing again. Attacking this with this threat as a follow-up. After bishop b6, Kasparov resigned. So, Karpov takes a 1-0 lead in the 1984 match after game 3. Thanks a lot for watching all the way until the end. If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a like and subscribe to the channel at the same time if you want to see more Karpov-Kasparov videos. If you press the bell, that means YouTube will let you know when I release a new video. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you later.